Hello, my name's Mike Emeny and I work for Books Illustrated Limited. We publish fine limited edition books. But a question that some of you might be asking is, why would I like a book that is a limited edition that costs hundreds of pounds when I can read the story in a book for £5, £10, or even borrow it from a friend? Well, I'd like to go through 4 of the reasons why I collect limited edition books. But first thing is to understand that these are 2 different products. This one has literally one function. It is to get the story into my mind the cheapest way possible. And that is mass producing a book which will deliver the story at a price. This one, as you can imagine, is something completely different. So the first thing I want to say, number 1 on my list, is the reason that this is a quality product. It is made by craftsmen. It's made by people who absolutely love the book business. They love to print, they love to bind, and they create something that is truly a joy to all of the senses. Visually, they are stunning. You can feel the difference when you pick the book up. With letterpress, you can run your finger over the page. You can see how beautifully it's designed, and even the smell of a book entices. It's like a fine wine, and that's a good point. Nearly everything in life has its functional product and then its experience product, a product that will make your senses fly. For example, you could drive to the shops in my car, or you could drive to the shops in an Aston Martin or a luxury car. You can drink cheap wine, or you can have something made by a master winemaker. Jewelry, pictures, handbags, everything has a functional product, and that's done at a price. And then there is something that is really the celebration of that. Limited edition books, with all the craftsmanship that goes into it, is a celebration of the book. Point number 2 that I think is important is there's a connection between these books and the author in a way the trade edition isn't. Every one of our books has to go through approval process with the author. Every illustration gets checked that it's correct, that we haven't got the wrong hair on the wrong person, that the scenes work correctly. But more than that, there is a signature inside each one of these, one by the illustrator, of course, but also by the author. And it's just a joy to know that this book was in the hands of the author who wrote this amazing story. I don't think we read books by authors we don't quite like, but when we love a story, you feel like you want to know that author. And this is kind of one step towards it. The third point I would like to make is that we are called Books Illustrated Limited. And the reason is that we actually love the artwork of the illustrator. So you won't find a few illustrations inside our book. You'll see tens of illustrations inside our book. And we like artists really to work with pen, ink, a paintbrush, and create something that is a real piece of art. For example, here we have Alice Cow's illustration for Inkheart, and you can see Meggie in Eleanor's library. You can see the stars on the ceiling. All the detail that you'll read in the book, you can find in it. This is like a window into the story, and I just love to see other people's interpretation of the story that I love. Here's Capricorn's village. Can you imagine walking down those streets late at night? Interesting. And then, of course, the magic of the story where Mo is reading the characters out of the book and into this world. And that's really what a good story will do. The other thing I'd like to say is that the value of a book, if we're talking about money, the reason that these are £200, £300 and this is £5, if you go online to find any book that you love, the value of it is, one, its condition. Is it is it beautifully made? Is it something that's a joy to behold? But mostly it's to do with its rarity value. And we all know that what a first edition of Harry Potter costs nowadays. And the reason being is there were only 500 of those published. Nobody thought the story would go anywhere, whether anyone would like it. But now, because there are millions of people that love the Harry Potter story, if you can get your hands on one of those 500, it's worth a lot of money. A book also goes up in value if it's signed by the author, as I've mentioned earlier. So with limited edition books, although yes, they do cost a lot of money up front, but they're an absolute joy to hold and to read. It's nice to know that you're keeping the book binding and the printing world, those great traditions, alive. But actually, if you think about it, like this Inkheart book here, there are only 400 copies of them. They're beautifully made and they're signed by both the author and the illustrator. And I think if you love the story, this is just a great way to celebrate a story that you love. I hope that's helped. I will try to make some other videos about some other parts of this interesting industry that I find myself in. Anyway, head on over to booksillustrated.com and check out the other titles. We have The Night Circus, there is War Horse, there are many classic books that we've published, and we've got some very exciting news coming out soon. Anyway, take care, bye-bye.